So ladies and gentlemen, we get in the Australian Open final the matchup that seemed relatively inevitable a couple of rounds ago. No disrespect to Karen Khachanov or the two Americans who fought very, very hard in Novak's half of the draw, but certainly these were the two guys who throughout the tournament exhibited the best level most consistently. And now they find themselves in the final. And obviously Novak, being the greatest hard court player of all time and a guy who has dominated this tournament when he's been allowed to play over the past 10 years, has never lost a semifinal, has never lost a final. He's the prohibitive favorite, and rightfully so. Novak, of course, has had a rough couple of years in terms of outside the court stories swirling around him, and this tournament has been no different. A couple of nights ago, his father was photographed with a couple of Russian war supporters, although he denies that he's supporting their cause. And of course, Novak has also been dogged by rumors in this tournament that his hamstring injury, which he has taped up every match, is either exaggerated or completely fabricated. Now, I don't think that he's made up the injury. I think it is relatively mild as hamstring injuries go, but it's certainly always an issue to flare up, especially early in a match, before the adrenaline starts flowing and before one is fully stretched out and into the match. And that ties into, I think, the one real chance that Stefanos has in this match, which is he has to be able to secure the first set. I think without securing the first set, there is almost no non-injury related chance for him to win this match, because Novak has such an aura of invincibility already, especially on this court, that if you don't win the first set, it's very difficult mentally to come back from the idea that this guy is just unbeatable. And he seems to, Novak does, get stronger, or at least he has over the last couple of matches as the match goes on. So, although it's certainly not enough to beat him, as Kyrgios found out in the Wimbledon final, winning the first set and then losing the match eventually, it is, I think, a very crucial step in terms of shattering that aura of invincibility and giving yourself a chance, especially in your own mind, to win the match. And of course, the mental side of things has always been the question for Tsitsipas in majors. It's almost inarguable, speaking of Kyrgios, that he came completely mentally undone, unglued in his match against Nick last year at Wimbledon, and allowed Nick to come back in that match and win.
You can't hit a ball into the crowd and hit someone and not get defaulted.
A bit disappointed with some of the things that went down.
And one important thing just on the mental side that one can say for Stefanos is that he was challenged to the maximum degree by Jannik Sinner a couple of rounds ago. Jannik came back from 2-0 down, and to Stefanos' great credit, he responded with one of the best serving performances in a set of his career. I think he hit 24 for 26 first serves, something absolutely astronomical, and he showed a tremendous amount of grit and mental focus, which is, I think, the minimum of what he's going to need to challenge Novak in this match. But to his great credit, again, he's shown in this tournament that he has the ability, albeit not in a final, to do things that are impressive on that side of the ledger. Stefanos has all the tools. He has a tremendous serve, and he has the forehand, especially when the ball sits up in the middle of the court, that should allow him to drive Novak off the court and put him in situations where he's scrambling. And that's really the only chance he has. Tommy Paul, who had a tremendous run and really did his best, even though he was certainly overmatched against Novak in the semis, the one way that he was able to get any sort of traction against Novak was pushing him off the court and trying to go for the line. I think Stefanos has to channel, in terms of strategy, a mentality similar to Robin Soderling when he beat Nadal at the French. You have to go for the line. You have to act like any ball that's given back to Novak in a neutral position has a very low chance of you winning the point. You have to push Novak into positions in which he's scrambling and in which he's uncomfortable, or else he will, especially as the match goes on, start stepping in and getting more comfortability in terms of creating angles to drive the ball into parts of the court that make you extremely uncomfortable. And obviously the key is going to be Stefanos maintaining his serve. He has to nail his first serve with good accuracy and good power. He also has to move the ball around with effectiveness. He has to ensure that Novak, who again is the greatest returner of all time as well, does not get a consistent look. He has to use kickers out wide. He has to go up the middle with power. He has to move the ball around so that Novak can't establish any degree of comfortability against what Stefanos is throwing at him. So again, keys to the match for Stefanos to have any chance, and I don't think that he has a great chance in general, but he has to secure the first set, and he has to be able to give Novak different looks on the serve and be aggressive, going flat and for the line with consistency. And another mental factor that Stefanos can perhaps use to his advantage is this. Novak has had, especially in finals and bigger matches, a little bit of an issue when the crowd turns against him. He has always wanted to have the same level of acclaim and universal love that tennis fans have shown for Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer especially, and he's never quite reached that level. And anytime that the crowd naturally wants to cheer for the underdog to have themselves a better match, a more intriguing match, it does seem to grind Novak's gears a bit. And if Stefanos is able to marshal any sort of momentum in this match, again, especially because of Novak's inevitability on this particular court, the crowd, I'm sure, will give Stefanos a lot of support. And that's something, if it bothers Novak, Stefanos can use to his advantage. So I think that if you're looking to bet Stefanos in this match, you have to include some kind of winning the first set bet in that proposition. And I also think that there's a really nice angle to look for tiebreaks in this match if you think Stefanos has a chance, and just in general, because Novak obviously has the potential to blow him out. But if this is anything but a blowout, I think that it's going to be a match in which Stefanos is able to win a couple of tiebreaks, because his key, again, to staying in the match is being able to hold his serve consistently. And I don't see Novak dropping his serve all that much. So this formulaically seems to be a match that has the potential to have one or more tiebreaks in it. I hope that everyone enjoys it. And for those who are staying up late, enjoy it. I will be streaming the match on Twitch. So if you look for that in the bottom corner, would love to have you guys by. Cheers. Have a great evening.
On your mark, get set.